accreditation is currently a process controlled by a number of third-party organizations. That's by statute, by law. Many of those third-party accreditors have relied on sort of woke ideology to accredit universities instead of accrediting based on merit and performance. This executive order affects a number of changes to the university accreditation process, also applies to law schools and other sort of graduate programs. But the basic idea is to force accreditation to be focused on the merit and the actual results that these universities are providing, as opposed to how woke these universities have gotten. So we're setting up new accreditation pathways. We're charging the Department of Education to really look holistically at this accreditation mess and hopefully make it much better.
Okay, thank you. And this pretty much does it, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Donald Trump continued his attack on higher education this week via an executive order that actually threatens to pull the accreditation from colleges across the country if they are teaching things or doing things that Donald Trump doesn't like. And of course, we all know that Donald Trump has been embroiled in this massive battle with Harvard, one of the oldest and most prestigious universities here in the United States, hell, on the planet. And he is threatening them. He actually reached out via Truth Social this week and threatened the university, saying that they fire their lawyer that they just hired because the university is just so anti-Semitic. He actually said it's one of the most anti-Semitic organizations in the country, Harvard is, apparently. So that actually came after he signed this executive order that directs Secretary of Education Linda McMahon to start looking into this. And if they're doing things we don't like, pull their accreditation. For the record, if Trump pulls accreditation from these colleges, that means that the degrees and the credits you earn from those colleges are worthless. It also means the colleges themselves are no longer able to accept student loans. They can't accept federal grants. They can't get federal loans. They can't get any kind of federal assistance or funding in any way, which, according to experts, is a death sentence for these colleges. They will be gone forever if that's what happens. So what are the criteria for a college to lose its accreditation? According to the executive order, accreditors have remained improperly focused on compelling adoption of discriminatory ideology. The order directs Secretary of Education Linda McMahon to suspend or terminate an accreditor's federal recognition in order to hold it accountable if it violates federal civil rights law. The order itself states that, quote, requiring institutions seeking accreditation to engage in unlawful discrimination in accreditation-related activity under the guise of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives would constitute a violation of federal civil rights law. First of all, no, it doesn't. Republicans are trying to hide behind the civil rights law, something they actually opposed in the past. Let's never forget that. In order to say that hiring more people of color, hiring more women, that's discriminatory against us white dudes. Yeah, that's a violation of our civil rights. You need more white men there. Yeah, we've seen what's happened to the federal government since Donald Trump got rid of DEI and replaced it with a bunch of idiot white men, right? How's the Department of Defense looking? How's the FAA looking? How's the Social Security Administration looking? Yeah, it's all gone to hell because of this, because of Donald Trump firing people of color and replacing them with incompetent white people who don't know what the f*** they're doing. That's what's happening in the federal government, and Trump wants that to start happening at universities. But this is just the first step. It's not just, do you have DEI in your guidelines? And DEI doesn't say you have to hire these people. It basically says, like, you can't reject these people based on race, gender, religion, all of that. Like, that's what it is. 20 years ago, they were saying the same thing about affirmative action, right? They just changed the name to DEI, and it's the same thing. It's their way to say, get rid of the black people, get rid of the Mexicans, get rid of the women, and put a bunch of hot white men in there, right? Because these people, for some reason, seem to be obsessed with white men in a way that I'm sure a lot of mental health professionals would just love to dig into, because there could be a little bit of latency right there due to the fact that these other white men want to only see white men anytime they go anywhere. Yeah, you know, that's a story for a different day. That's some issues y'all clearly need to work out. If you walk outside your door and you say, I only want to see a bunch of white men around, that says more about you than it does about anything else. But all joking aside, this is going to destroy higher education in the United States. He is going to pull accreditation from some of the oldest and, again, most prestigious colleges on this planet. We are going to see the decimation of education at all levels, because this is just higher education, but they're also targeting so much in regular K through 12 education as well. It is a disaster. It is the dumbing down of the United States of America, and they're doing it because they are huge racists. That's what this is. You know, Trump had the audacity to call Harvard anti-Semitic. Trump's the one who on the campaign trail multiple times said any Jewish person that votes for Democrats, you're a bad Jew. Like, if anybody's got anti-Semitism inside of them, man, it's you. Clearly, obviously. But he's in charge. He gets to write executive orders. He gets to make these directions. And by God, Linda McMahon isn't smart enough to push back on him. So this is now just a thing that's going to happen in the United States. Thanks for...
You might have missed it, but President Trump just dropped a host of executive orders that may change exactly how colleges work here in America. There are 3 major changes we're looking at right now. 1, colleges cannot be judged by how diverse they are. 2, accreditation is based off of student success, not based off of gender or race statistics. And 3, colleges must report all foreign money or risk losing accreditation altogether. Supporters say it's simply about holding schools accountable. And critics say this is censorship and a direct attack on diversity in education. This isn't just a policy change. This can affect what's taught, who gets hired, and even who's admitted into college next year. Tell me, what do you think about this in the comments? This is why all this is important. Follow Beat Education for real education news.
Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you are watching this video. Here's another executive order that Trump signed Wednesday, attacking college accreditations because he's so concerned about DEI and he wants to get rid of it. Like, it's really hurting a race of people, right? And making other races of people better, which is really not. So he's attacking colleges now. President Donald Trump signed Executive Order April 23rd, directing the Department of Education, but wasn't he trying to dismantle the Department of Education because he said children are not learning? To make much of the country's college accreditation system. The order directs Linda McMahon to potentially suspend or terminate the recognition of U.S. accreditations that include diversity, equity, and inclusion among their accreditation standards. Trump's order also calls on accreditors to require that institutions support and prioritize intellectual diversity among facility. It also mandates the accreditation agencies require colleges and universities to use data to improve student outcomes. American students and taxpayers deserve better, and my administration will reform our dysfunctional accreditation system so that colleges and universities focus on delivering high-quality academic programs at a reasonable price, Trump said in executive order. Federal recognition will not be provided to accreditors engaging in unlawful discrimination in violation of federal law. But what college is violating federal law? What? College accreditors oversee institutions and programs to ensure that they have a proper systems to adequately educate students. They give the stamp of approval on only institutions and programs approved by an ED-recognized accreditor can be dispersed. Federal financial aid, which includes federal student loans and Pell Grants to students. Trump also ordered that the department to resume recognition to new college accreditors. Former President Joe Biden paused recognition of new agencies during his administration, but Trump aims to resume this process to increase competition and accountability in promoting high-quality, high-value academic programs to focus on student outcomes, according to the order. This executive order makes good on Trump's campaign promise to make sweeping changes to the accreditation system. In May 2023, he said he would fire the radical left accreditors. While his executive order doesn't go quite that far, it does set the stage for education to revoke recognition of many accreditation agencies in the near future if they don't bend to his demands. The Trump administration may also have to go through a lengthy negotiated rulemaking process, which brings together higher education stakeholders to amend existing regulations to officially enact these changes. President Trump of the Council for Higher Education Accreditation said in a statement, her name is Cynthia Jackson, that accreditors already work with institutions and programs when there is a shortfall in outcomes. She described the relationship between institutions and accreditors as one of trust and responsible actions. We firmly reject President Trump's mischaracterization of accreditors' role in the nation's post-secondary education system. The council said in a statement, we stand ready to work with Secretary of Education on policies that would advance our shared mission of enhanced quality, innovation, integrity, and accountability. Wow. He really wants these universities to kiss his A for money, but Harvard took him to court, and I hope Harvard wins. And they said there was a rumor that I guess he's upset because Barron didn't get into Harvard. I'm not sure. Is that true or not? But if it is, he should be ashamed of himself.
So Donald Trump wants to target college accreditation process in his new executive order. Basically, he doesn't want them to use any sort of DEI-driven process when they're doing the accreditation, or even having schools reflect on how DEI will be represented in their schools as part of their mission, their vision, their values. Okay, don't forget, he had a fake university. And I looked it up. This is the quote from just Google, a basic Google search. In 2011, amid multiple investigations, lawsuits, and student complaints, it ceased its operation. This guy's university. Despite its name, the organization was not, I repeat, not an accredited university or college. He's a bitter, petty man. And he's trying to figure out a way to get at Harvard. He's trying to find a way because he's so pissed. He's like, we'll get them on the accreditation. They won't be able to survive that. We'll just yank their accreditation. Okay.
So now this government wants to take away the accreditation of universities, and they want to change the process. And he just signed a fucking executive order for it to reevaluate the accreditation through the government, his government, the same government that is saying that we need to have patriotic education. What kind of bullshit is that? You know what made this country great? It was science. It was innovation. It was the fact that we could develop a way to create cars affordable for everybody, that we could create Microsoft, that we could create computers, the internet, move forward. That's what made us great. That's what made us a superpower. And now you have a government that gives such little fuck about science and technology and the development of the country that they want to control what they teach to people. They want to control how they portray the U.S. in history. What kind of bullshit is that? This patriotic education, if you don't know where it comes from, you need to read a little bit, especially around 1938, 1939. This guy is taking away the accreditation of all these universities. So they have to bend the knee to him, and they can regulate what our kids are going to learn in that university. If that is not fascism, you have never read the definition of it. I'm Alex. This is my rant, and this is fucking ridiculous. I'm out.